Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 20 on the Appalachian Trail and day 3 in the Smoky Mountains. The trail this morning, crunchy, and yet muddy. I think the temperature this morning is about, in Celsius, maybe minus 3 or 4. In Fahrenheit, I don't know. 24, 26 degrees Fahrenheit. So last night was not quite as cold as the night before. Still a cold night for sure, and still well below freezing, but not as cold as the night before. Sunshine. Well, you know what? Let's take a look. The sun's rising into the sky in the distance. Just above the mountain ranges. Clouds developing today. Oh yeah. I didn't have a cell signal last night to recheck, but yesterday morning when I did have one and I checked the weather, it had promised me rain for tomorrow, and the last I checked it said it was an 80% chance. As I say, I could not check last night. If you can see in the GoPro, there's one hiker ahead of me here. Well, there's many ahead of me, but one that we can see maybe. But beautiful sunshine rising up into the sky this morning, and we'll take that. We'll take the sunshine any day of the week, no doubt about it. You can see the grayness, the contrast, the color. I embrace the gray as a photographer. I really do. I enjoy gray skies. Not necessarily just a sheet of gray, but a character kind of holding gray. A gray that changes in shades as your eye kind of wanders across the sky. Something that's sometimes ominous, threatening, promising. You know? Yeah, anyhow, Jasper here. Welcome to day 20. And you know what? I think today, well, yesterday, oh my lordy, yesterday was super challenging. I did 9 miles. That was the best I could manage. And I did get to the Derrick's Knob shelter where I camped. It was about 2:30 in the afternoon when I got there. But believe me, I simply did not have very much steam left to make it the next, I believe, 5.7 miles to the next shelter. Which would have given me a 15-mile day, 15 plus, and that was my original goal. But the terrain, my goodness, the terrain itself was super challenging, rocky, steep, and then when you throw in the mud, the snow drifts 2 feet tall in areas. It was just too much to do the 15 miles. One thing, I wasn't the only one thinking that way. I was being disappointed with myself and my performance, but when I did get to the shelter and after I'd got there, many others that I'd seen along the trail were all kind of arriving or had arrived at that 9-mile shelter. Now, granted, there was some very strong hikers out here and they would blow by, and they did, but I'd say the majority stayed at the 9-mile shelter. I think everybody felt the same way yesterday. Just from the odd hiker I chit-chatted with, they said, yeah, 9 miles was enough for that particular day. Today, well, I think it's a 13-mile day. We have a shelter at 5.7. That's the one I should have got to yesterday, and that's obviously too close for today. The next one is at a total of 13. Drawbacks. It's about half a mile off trail. And being in the Smokies, we have to kind of stay at the shelter or shelter area for the tenting or inside the shelter itself. So that's, and it does have water. So that's the shelter we're aiming for, which will give us a 13-mile day. And all things being equal, at the end of day 3 in the Smokies, we'll be about halfway through the actual Smoky Mountains. Klingman's Dome is at, I believe, 10 and a half miles in today, the highest point on the Appalachian Trail. So yeah, good morning, everybody. Okay, Less babbling and more hiking, I think. Well, break time at the Seiler shelter. Now that is where I originally planned to go to yesterday, but I just didn't make it. So I had an early lunch today, which was a chicken salad wrap with a Kit Kat bar and some electrolyte water. I think it's around 11:15 right now. So that's okay, and it's 7.3 miles from here, I believe, to my camp this evening at the next shelter. Well, actually, there is another shelter just a couple of miles down the trail, but that's again too close. So the next one that I'll be staying at is 7.3 miles. So now I am hydrated, I am refueled, and we're going to start the next push, which is going to be to the iconic Clingman's Dome, the highest point on the Appalachian Trail, and the highest point, of course, in the Smoky Mountains. Yeah, and the trail behind me. I'm finding it really quite difficult to vlog, record, dictate, and journal the hike. Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm getting lots of material, but there's just lots of times it takes all you've got just to hike this trail without the vlogging. And speaking of hiking, you know what? I better get going. The wind is cold today, much colder than it has been. Sun's trying to peek through that grey, but not doing a good job of it. Okay, let's go. The first open view of the day. Isn't that beautiful? With the grey backdrop behind. Absolutely perfect. The trail behind me, snowy, muddy, challenging, and rocky. And the trail ahead of me, snowy, muddy, rocky, and challenging. It's nice to see that first open view of the day, for sure. Okay. Oh. Lots of fun. And now we get a view from the other side of the ridge. Take a look-see at that. Okay, let's carry on. Well, I don't know for sure, but I'm hearing an awful lot of distant rumbling, and not so distant rumbling, over in that direction. I hope that's not a thunderstorm or a line of thunder coming through here. I know we're supposed to get rain tomorrow, but as I mentioned earlier, I haven't had a signal now for probably 24 hours on my phone, so I haven't been able to get a weather update. Yeah. So thunder wouldn't be good, especially up here. Well, I don't suppose there's anything we can do about it, but we'll just see what happens. Oh, curious. Okay. Okay. I just love, absolutely love, the kind of images where you've got those kind of rugged mountain evergreens right kind of here. And then on this side, right next to it, you've got these dead kind of trees with the mountains in the background. My goodness, I just love scenes like that. Whew. The trail, rocky, snowy, and steep as we push ever higher towards Clingman's Dome. Okay, let's keep going. Clingman's Dome, the highest point on the Appalachian Trail. We have made it to Clingman's Dome. I love these treetops. Take a look at this. I just love these treetops, the dead trees. I just love those. Take a look at the dome. And of course, we're going to go up there. Why not? We're here. I took my pack off and left it at the bottom of this little climb. So it's kind of nice. Ooh. Take a look. Look at the views. Absolutely beautiful.
Take it easy. Have a good rest of your trip.
So there you have it. That was the view from Clingman's Dome, right behind us here. One more peek, a little look down. You can see my pack down there. I elected to take mine off. Most guys brought theirs up, but I just didn't see the point of carrying that monster this far, or up to this observation post. So from here, well, is it all downhill from here because this is the highest point on the Appalachian Trail? Does that make sense? All downhill to Catartan? I kind of doubt it, to be honest with you. Again, these kind of dead trees amongst the evergreens. Look at this. Just take a look at that. As a photographer, I find this stuff absolutely stunning. Just stunning. And this one, with a little bit of golden color on the ends. Even more stunning. From Clingman's Dome, we had a very treacherous, icy 2-mile descent. And it was challenging. Now, we have a mile climb to the top of Mount Collins, and then a short descent down to the side trail that will take us to the shelter. And that will give us 13 point something today for miles. And as we mentioned earlier, we passed the 200-mile mark. That was nice. So yeah, been a good solid day today. I think tomorrow, and I'm not sure, I think the first shelter of the day is at 7 miles. That's too short. I think the second shelter is at 15. So we're going to have a little bigger day tomorrow, depending on terrain and so on, weather conditions. It's going to rain in the early hours of the morning, overnight, and in the early hours of the morning, turning to showers apparently by 10 in the morning. So I'll be way too late to get a spot in the shelter. So that's another challenge for tomorrow. Trail behind me. And the trail ahead of me. Okay, let's get to camp. So, the Mount Collins shelter. We made it here, and tonight I have a bunk inside the shelter. Heavy rain is forecast tonight. Rain on and off all day tomorrow, mostly on. Campers, there's lots of tents around the back. We'll just walk around there and I'll show you. And of course, like most shelters, it has water, and this one has a privy, which is good. There's tents way in the back there, all around the sides here. Lots of tents. So yeah, today was a good solid day. Klingman's Dome today, 200-mile marker today. So today we had some interesting highlights. It was 13.3 miles. Tomorrow's shelters from here. Now, there's a lot of people going into Gatlinburg, and I thought about it, but I thought, well, maybe not. Maybe I won't go into Gatlinburg tomorrow, even though it's going to be a rain day. I don't need to. I'm okay for another couple of days of food, and that will take me to the Standing Bear Hostel. But tomorrow, the first shelter's at 8.1 mile or 8.3 miles, and the second shelter's at 16.1 miles. 16.1 miles, excuse me. So, I don't know. I'm not sure if it'll be 8.1 or 16.3, something like that. 16.3 under these icy conditions in the rain will be too much, I think. So it might be a shorter day, 8.3, but you know what? We'll take those 8.3 miles if that's the best we can get. Okay, Jasper here. Thank you for joining me. The end of day 20. 20% into the, 10% into this hike now. We will talk to you guys in the morning for day 21, because that's when it will start, bright and early. Good night.
Oh, it's going good, man. Go get some on that, Daffy. I'm about to do the same thing.